What is up, Breaking Bad fans? Kino here, and we're back with another Breaking Bad log. Today we're looking at the 9th episode of Season 2, 4 Days Out. Now, the episode opens with Walt and his family at the doctor's office. Walt is going in for a scan to determine if the chemo is having any effect. Though they won't get the results for a week, Walt gets a glimpse at his results and sees a huge mark on his lungs, and realizes that he's most likely going to die. After the title, Walt goes to see Saul to discuss laundering his money. Walt only has $16,000 at this point, which isn't a lot to leave his family. He decides he needs to cook as much product as possible in the time he has left. He then makes up an excuse with Skylar, saying he's going out of town to visit his mother. She realizes that he thinks he's going to die, and urges him to try and be positive. Meanwhile, Jesse is continuing his relationship with Jane. She suggested they go to a Georgia O'Keeffe museum in Santa Fe together. Again, they both share a passion for art and drawing. However, Walt calls and tells him that they need to cook for 4 days straight. When Jesse refuses, Walt lies and says that their methylamine is going bad. This is another classic example of Walt's manipulation of Jesse. The next day, Skylar drops Walt off at the airport, where Jesse then arrives and picks him up. They then drive way out into the desert where no one will disturb them. After arriving, Walt tells Jesse to put the keys somewhere safe. Jesse then puts them into the ignition, but doesn't see the light turn on. This will be a problem soon. We then get another classic Breaking Bad cooking montage as they cook for 2 days straight. The song that plays during this sequence is One by One by the Black Seeds, and it's one of my personal favorite montages we get in the series. After 2 days, they've cooked 42 pounds of meth, which will net them $672,000 each. Pleased with themselves, they decide to head back into town to sleep for the night. However, when they try to start the RV, they realize that the battery is now dead, and they're stranded in the desert. Walt then siphons some gas from the RV in order to start the generator in order to jumpstart the battery. However, Jesse spills some of the gas into the generator, which catches fire when they start it. Walt rushes to get the fire extinguisher, but Jesse dumps their drinking water on it instead. They're now stranded in the desert and have no water. Jesse then calls Skinny Pete to come and rescue them. The directions he gives are very vague, and end up waiting a long time for him to arrive. When they call him back, he realizes that Skinny Pete has gone the wrong way. The phone then dies, leaving them with no hope for rescue. The next day, Walt tries to trickle charge the RV by hand cranking the generator. He and Jesse take turns cranking the generator all day long in the hot sun. Jesse sees that Walt's health is failing and realizes that he lied about the methylamine expiring. They then try to start the engine, which fires up for a moment and then dies again. Walt, realizing that they're going to die out there, says that he deserves this fate. Jesse defends him, saying he only did this for his family, but Walt admits that all he's ever done is hurt them with his lies. It's a rare moment of clarity from Walt that we don't see often. Jesse then decides to try walking to civilization, but Walt warns him that he'll die within an hour. Jesse then gets angry and demands that Walt try something to save them. He lists a bunch of options, including making a robot, but Walt gets an idea from his suggestion of making a new battery. He creates a battery cell using a bunch of objects from the RV. They then connect it to the RV battery, and after a few anxious attempts, the RV starts. Jesse then drops Walt off at the airport. He says that no matter what happens, his family will get his share of the money. Walt and his family then go to Dr. Del Cavoli's office for the results of his scan. It turns out that Walt's tumor has shrunk by 80%, giving him very good odds of survival. It turns out that the image that Walt saw on his scan was a harmless infection. There's a level of irony here, in that Walt came closer to death from his trip to the desert than from his cancer. It turns out Skylar was right. Positivity would have kept Walt much safer in this case. His family is ecstatic that Walt is going to live. However, when alone in the bathroom, Walt violently punches a towel dispenser. The reason for this is because on some level, Walt wanted to die. It gave him a reason to adopt the Heisenberg persona, which awakened Walt from his boring life. With his motivations taken away, he ironically has no reason to keep living now. We'll touch on that more next episode, but I love the image of Walt staring at his distorted reflection. It's very much like the picture of Dorian Gray, a distorted image that shows us Walt's true identity underneath the surface. Another great detail is the connections to the Godfather films. Last episode, Saul compared Walt to Fredo Corleone, but said that with the right advice, he might become a powerful criminal like Vito. However, in this episode, Hank does the "just when I thought I was out" line from Godfather Part 3. In addition to being another similarity to The Sopranos, it also connects Walt more to Michael Corleone, a man who started out good but became heartless after rising to power in the criminal world. Also, the scene from El Camino takes place during this episode after... Wait. Never mind. We'll save that for later. And that's pretty much everything I have to say about this episode. Thank you guys so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next Breaking Bad log coming soon. Smoking marijuana, eating Cheetos, and masturbating absolutely constitute plans, by the way. Russell, Sean, Heart of Markness, Logan, Clean, John Reyna, Jesse Sterling, Andrew Stewart, Obscuracing Media, Daz J. Kit, Conan Higgins, Sam Cedarlin, Don Lucania, Celery Man, and Jenna Marie Johnson.